And we're live. Hello,
Hi.
and hello
Hi,
to you.
Richie. How are you? Hello, lovely viewers. How's everyone doing?
What a pleasant introduction.
I know, it's almost like I make YouTube videos every day, isn't it?
We've been chatting backstage for half an hour and we've got so much to talk about. I'm so excited to have you on my channel. This is your
Thank
first
you.
live, isn't it?
It is. It's so exciting. So I normally edit everything, and this time it's live.
And we can't edit anything out at all if it goes wrong.
I know, but
And
it's
nothing's going to
exciting.
go wrong. And if it does, we cope with it.
That's true. Absolutely. So how are you?
I am very well. I'm a little worn out as it's Friday. But actually, I forgot to make some coffee, but I'm sure I'll be all right. I'll be all right. How are you?
Uh,
You okay?
I am good. I am good.
How
I've been doing a lot of
exciting to
exciting things. Yay, it's been great. Great week in Cartomancy.
and we've got lots to talk about. In fact, I'm actually concerned we may need to do a second part to this.
I would love that. That would be great.
We can do this. We can do this. So, everyone, welcome Xand. I'm going to say hello to some of the lovely people that are joining us today, Xand. So, you
Okay,
can give them a little wave if you want to.
I
The first
shall.
person in was White Wolf Mother. Hello to you, my lovely. I hope
Hi,
you're
White Wolf
very
Mother.
well.
Hi.
And Lisa Rhodes is here. Lovely type, kindness and light.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello to
Hi.
you, Lisa. She's saying hello to everyone. There's my link to Xand's channel. So go visit, like, and subscribe. We need
That
to get
subscribe button.
we'd like to get more subscribers for him.
We're almost at 600. We've got 10 to go to 600.
Till
And I know we're going to get to 1,000 tonight, guys. We are. Totally. If you believe it, you can achieve it. Yeah, push that subscribe
Absolutely.
button.
Let's set that
Yeah.
intention right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it must be.
Yeah, and so it will. Red Wing, hello to you, my lovely. I hope you're
Hi,
very
Redwing.
well. And
Hey.
Marusa is here. Hello, lovely
Hi,
to see
Maruth.
you here as
Hi.
well.
Hi, lovely to meet you.
And our jumpy chat. And our lovely friend Gerald is here. Hello, my lovely. I hope
Hey,
you're doing
Gerald.
well. Anyone else in? Pia is here. Hello to she's
Hi,
waving
Pia.
a pink hand. There we
Hi.
go. And Chris is here. Hello, Chris. Good to see you here.
Hey, Chris.
Lovely
Hi.
for you stopping by. I hope you're very well.
I have watched Chris's channel, actually. Hi. Yes. In fact, I was
Well,
just talking about that, how tarot works. We were just discussing that. But
no, you need to reach out. He'll do a round table reading for you if you're lucky.
awesome. Yay. Awesome.
Awesome. So lovely to see. Oh, hang on. I'm having a compliment. Hang on. Richie is a nice guy, regardless of what you might have heard me say about him.
Yikes. No, I know he's lovely. I know.
Queen, please.
Love it.
Oh yes, I forgot to. You can have props if you got some props. I forgot to warn you, Xand. You can go and get whatever you want.
Me? Props? No.
Just this and kept on the bed. Nancy is here. Hello.
Hi, Nancy.
It's good to see you here. I hope you're very well. I'm just seeing if anyone else is here. I think that's it for the moment. If you are just watching in and not commenting, that's absolutely great. Great to have you here. And if you are going to be watching this on playback, thank you very much for taking the time to it. Oh, there we go. White Wolf Mother's already subscribed. So, and she's turned notifications on. So there we Our first question, actually, before we've even started, Maruta's got it in there. Where are you from, Xand?
Where am I from? Well, I get this question a lot. I'm from Ireland originally, but I'm kind of half Londoner, really. Yeah, so more London Irish.
London Irish. But you've travelled, haven't you? You've been around Europe quite a bit, and
yeah.
So
the accent's all over the place. I'm like Lloyd Grossman and Joanna Lumley's love child, really.
Oh, there we go. Look, Chris
trying to place your accent.
I'm obsessed by working out where you're from.
I know. I've lived in England, in Wales. I lived in Spain for a while. So I speak Spanish a little bit, and I'm now learning Greek. So it's all over the place. I'm going to be returning to Spain at some point. So I will probably. Spain is sort of going to be my home in the future, but I'm back in Ireland at the moment. So
back in Ireland there with your cats.
With my two cats, yes, with Sebastian and Luna. Hence the name of the channel, Two Black Cats for my fur babies. So, yeah.
And they might even feature later on, might they? They might
They
jump.
they probably will. They are. Luna's asleep at the bottom of the bed, and Sebastian is on his giant cat tower. We call it the cat tower because it's almost to the ceiling. So, which is good. It's nice that Daddy can actually concentrate instead of having cats running around.
There we go. Chris says he couldn't place your accent because he's common as muck. That's why he said that.
I just sound posh. I live in a council flat and I swear like a sailor, but not tonight because it's nice.
You are keeping your language.
I am. If you subscribe to my channel, prepare yourselves. You'll need to be a big fan of Sarah Millican, Catherine Ryan, and the likes. There's a lot of comedy.
I did say I'm going to pay you compliments, so I better start now, actually. One of the things I do like about your channel is you're very authentic to yourself. And you say what you're feeling, what you think, as you say.
Whereas maybe a little bit too much.
No. But I think not a lot, but I think sometimes when we've got channels, we perhaps guard ourselves. I know I've done that occasionally. I've thought, should I put a video out about this? And I've even made videos and taken them off because I just think, I don't know if that's quite me. And I've never had the courage, not the courage, but I've never felt like I needed to step over that. But you go for it, and I absolutely love it. So,
it's only because I edit my videos and I switch off I have to say I switch off comments on my YouTube channel because I wasn't born yesterday. Hi, I'm a gay witch reading tarot cards. Okay, lovely. And I make jokes about Ron DeSantis. So yes, and that's what gives me the freedom to do it. I mean, I've been making YouTube videos for about 2 years now, and at first I did little podcasts on my phone, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And then when I got into cartomancy, and I thought, I love this, and I decided that I love the creative process of making videos, and I like sharing information, and I would like to become a teacher at some point. So I don't want. I mainly sort of want to protect other people as well, because the internet can be a rather scary place at times.
It can be. People do like to make comments and not think about the consequences of them sometimes. Yeah. So,
and I use Instagram and Facebook as a means of communicating, and it's it just keeps you a little bit more protected and keeps the viewers protected. So yeah, it works well.
Absolutely sensible. Look, Wolf Mother said, I've counted 3 subscribers since you started.
Oh, hi. We're almost at 6. We're going to get to 600 in the next 20 minutes. I know. Absolutely. Yay.
We're not going to finish this broadcast until we have. I was going to keep going.
Go till midnight. Absolutely. I'm going to be like Kathy Griffin on New Year's Eve.
I just love it. It was really nice chatting to you. As I say, there's such a lovely comedy and a warm element about it. So I'm really enjoying, and I'm really looking forward to talking lots to you about this tonight and further on. So everyone watching, please give a thumbs up. Maruta has asked a question, and please do put questions in. Xand is more than happy to answer anything. He can say no if you put any questions in, but do you mind sharing if you do anything outside of YouTube?
I am I suppose you could say I'm a writer. I write articles for a local magazine in Belfast, near to where I live, and I am working on about 3 books at the minute, actually. I'm working on it because I lived in Spain for about 4 years, and I love Spain. Spain is one of my corazón is, and so I am writing a book about Spain, kind of like a sort of a comedy, a bit like Benidorm. Yeah. Because I did actually live there, and so I'm writing a sort of a gay comedy type version, a bit inspired by Fleabag, a bit inspired by, those kind of people, which I will hopefully have finished fairly soon. It's almost there. I'm writing a book about tarot, and I am writing another book about mental health and that sort of thing. So because I studied psychology, so so technically I'm a writer.
Lots of strings to your bow.
Not published yet, though. So hi.
What's the space? I think an ironic question here. What color are your cats?
They're blue.
And Chris
Pink.
is warning people, subscribe beaches are on coming to shuffle reversals into your decks. So there we
I
go.
know.
You don't
But
want our Chris doing that one. So
I read reversals.
he does. Now, actually, let's get on and talk about this, because
Yay.
how long have you been studying? I'm going to use the word cartomancy because I can't remember whether you did tarot or Lenormand or did both or did everything together. So let's just go back to a bit. How long have you been doing it?
I bought these bad boys around the middle of July last year. This is not my first deck of cards. This is a Hermetic Tarot, for those of you that don't know, which is a fun one to start with. Yeah, it's interesting. Kind of like a trip to Hogwarts.
Jump straight in at the deep end there with that one.
Jump straight in. This is not my first deck of cards. I bought a deck of tarot cards when I was 18 on a trip to Barcelona, where I later lived actually for about 8 months, many years later, when I could actually speak Spanish, not Catalan quite so much.
Yeah.
But I bought a deck of tarot cards when I was a kid, and I didn't really know what to do with them. And so I stopped, and something took over me, and I thought, I need to learn tarot. Of course, it was, I'm sure, a download from aliens or something like that.
Yeah.
And I bought a deck of cards, and I happened to buy this deck. And so it's been every day. I'm completely obsessed. I've been studying every day since. So it's been, what is it now? May? We're coming up to 1 year.
Like 11 months. Wow.
Yeah, and then
to look at anyone's had a chance to look at Xand, it sounds like you've been doing it for years. I'm slightly jealous. I have to. Well,
I'm a Virgo and a geek. So I mean, we started with tarot. We got into Lenormand, of course, which I now love. Love. And of course, playing card divination, because it's all the same thing. And now runes. So runes, I'm only I understand runes fairly well, but I'm not that fluent at all. Tarot is not too bad. Lenormand, I'm getting there. I'm actually working on grand tableaus at the minute, and I'll be doing videos about that on my channel.
And the other day we were chatting and we did readings for one another as well, didn't we? And you were explaining, and you do some really wonderful videos about the grand tableau in Lenormand, which is something that particularly puts people off a bit with Lenormand when they're doing it, because you have to lay all your cards out and you're pondering them. So I would, if you're interested in Lenormand or having a look at it, definitely go and have a look at your channel, because there's some fantastic insights into it. We'll be talking about later on there.
Well, I think the thing that I would say quickly about the way that I could describe Lenormand for the people who don't know, or Lenormand, my French is not great. My Spanish is okay. My French is rubbish, I'm afraid. So I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that. But the way that I would describe it is, when I started to learn Spanish, I stuck in the present tense. I stayed in the present tense for 8 years. Folks, I was terrified of going to the past, going to the future. And as soon as I started to look at the other tenses and really understanding grammar, it just suddenly opened it up, and I realized I can talk about the past, the present, and the future. Lenormand is the same thing. It dives straight in. Don't be afraid of it. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I mean, yeah, it takes time and everything else, but you might as well look at all 36 cards, and then you can see everything. You can really spill the tea on any situation. It's fabulous. It is. Trust it. I did Marilyn Monroe the other day. It was amazing. Yeah, you can watch the video. Saw the whole thing. Kennedy's, everything, all the drama.
It's all there in the cards.
Yeah, yay, it's exciting. So you might as well try, And then if you can do a GT, you can do anything. You can do a 3 card, a 9 card. I'm really at the beginning stages, but I see it as a system. But then I'm a geek. I
was going to ask you, how do you? I mean, just taking a step back, a lot of people probably come to tarot and then maybe put off a little bit by Lenormand, by the fact that you have to kind of unthink the system and learn it, especially. I went the other way. I went from Lenormand to tarot, which is a lot easier. I was going to say, what do you think of the similarities, or when you're geeking out on it at all? What advice could you give if you're learning Lenormand for the first time?
Well, actually, I am writing. I'm going to be writing about the similarities I've discovered between tarot and Lenormand in my book. So I'm not going to give that away just
not allowed to say that then.
because I found some quite striking similarities. That makes me think that actually both systems are much older than but also I've been sort of looking at Aleister Crowley and everything else. But well, Lenormand works kind of for me. It works a bit like an adjective describing a noun. The tall man, the short person, the tall building, and so you think about it like if you don't think about cards, think about words. And actually, I have been reading these two books, which let me get my other one, which I do really highly recommend, and the channel Lisa Loves Lenormand. Hi, shout out, Lisa
I
Young
love
Sutton. These are really great. We've been working my way through these books on my channel, and they really helped. And it makes you think about it like a language. Whereas tarot, for me, tarot teaches you how not to be like Ron DeSantis, whereas Lenormand teaches you. Lenormand is the lie detector. Lenormand is a lie detector test. It really is. I mean, because that's why we're doing this, isn't it? Is this person telling me the truth? What's going to happen? How do I mitigate my damages, or how do I avoid making a mistake? But I think tarot for me, certainly going from the hermetic side of it, where I had to go into the Kabbalistic sort of tree of life astrological stuff to figure out how this deck works. I realized very quickly when you start to look at the tree of life and the path work and everything else, this is more of a spiritual tool. This is teaching us how to be better people, isn't it? I think which we all want to be. Whereas Lenormand is the lie detector. Kind of think meet the parents in the basement, tell me the truth. That's how I
Well,
use it.
yeah, I mean, some of the videos you've done have been you've gone into your past relationships, haven't you? And you've kind of had a little look for perhaps things that went on that you weren't sure about. And it's absolutely fascinating to see that. But it's also incredibly brave to do that, make a video and put it out there. So, when you're doing that, how is it kind of cathartic? Is it a way of healing? What's the reasons behind it for you?
Well, I mean, what I realized is that I can talk about this in a general way, I suppose, just to
Yeah.
kind of really illustrate how I feel about the power of Lenormand and why I like the Grand Tableau. So, what you can do with a Grand Tableau, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, and with any card system, I think anyway, that's what cartomancy is all about, is that it's not just about looking into the future, you can look at the past. You can look at past events. You can look at past events in your own life that are painful, and by using Lenormand, especially, I highly recommend a deck, an expanded deck like the Queer Lenormand, rainbow colors. You can use different cards, and I don't call them the man and woman card because I don't live in 1952. Hi, how are you? I call them player one and player two.
Yeah.
Player one and player two is an easier way to think about it. By using that and thinking about them as just people, let's say, rather than attaching them to people, you can sort of separate yourself from a particularly painful episode in your past, like someone cheating on you or being abused as a child or whatever it is, whatever very difficult situation you have gone through that you need to understand and clarify. You can use this as a way of looking at what happened and really analyzing it. And especially when you get into, the more complex ways of reading a grand tableau with chaining the houses, you can really see the whole story. And it is like reading a magazine article. And I think it helps people. I mean, my sister died from cancer last year, and I've been using kind of mediumship to communicate with her in a way through these divination techniques, and it helps. It really does. Yeah. So.
Thank
Yeah.
you for that. I was going to ask actually, going from Lenormand to tarot, how has learning the Lenormand, or perhaps vice versa, what have you learned about the Lenormand that you now apply to tarot reading?
It's more what I know about tarot than I apply to Lenormand. I did a video on my channel, which I will find the name for you. Now, this I did not come up with this myself. It was a spread done by Lisa Young Sutton, whose books I just showed you a minute ago. The 3x2, the fast, fun, and easy 3x2 Petit Lenormand spread from 6 days ago. where it's very similar to the tarot spread that I use myself, a 6 card spread, where you lay 3 cards, and the upper 3 cards, cards 4, 5, and 6, or I suppose 1, 2, and 3, if you like, in order,
Mm.
will describe or show what's influencing the cards below. And so it's very similar to a 6 card reading that I do, past, present, future. And I was saying I go past with the diagonal card because you want to get the left side and right side of the brain
Yeah.
working on it, to help you understand it. And so using the cards to describe one another, it clarifies. And so that's what made Lenormand more accessible when I could think about it like that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought Lenormand was going to be something I would hate because I bought a deck of Thelema Lenormand
Mhm. Oh, right.
back in November. I think it was probably November time. Got it through Amazon, didn't know anything about it. And I opened the deck and I went through it and I wanted to throw it out the window because I thought, hi, it's 2023, not 1856. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
And I gave it to my mother actually because I thought she'll enjoy it. She's quite conservative, bit of a fan of Ron DeSantis, and so. But yeah, but also I suppose the main thing that I like about it is using one to clarify another. Do you get
Yeah.
the same reading for both? If
Yeah.
one's out, if one's positive and one's negative, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
I when I read for other people, I like to use runes as well because I do rune cast. It's very simple. Drop 5 runes, see what happens. If they're positive, they're positive. If they're negative, it'll
Yeah.
clarify the tarot cards and the Lenormand reading as well. So.
That's a lot. That's a lot that you do for reading, and
But
sounds
but
very
here's
thorough.
the thing that I would say to you as well is, and this is where at least the young starting really helped me. The grand tableau, you don't have to read every card, and also you don't have to do a boxed time period. You can
Yeah.
do a kind of a snapshot spread. Now, if I'm doing a snapshot spread and someone's asking about their partner, are they lying? And I don't need to look at every single card. I just look at where the placement is, where they're using the method of distance, and you see. Lenormand there's another wonderful person, Donna Leigh de la Rose, who helped create the Chiron Marchetti deck. I think she worked on this as well with him, and she's amazing. And she, talks about this as well in terms of Lenormand is different from tarot in that it's like reading an article in a newspaper once you are
Yes.
fluent. Am I fluent yet? No, I'm
No.
not. But that's why I'm making
Are
all the
we ever
videos.
fluent? That's the question.
No, well, but there's
Mm.
a wonderful book called The Artist's Way by I think a writer called Julia Cameron,
Yeah.
who talks about stop thinking of there being a finish line in terms of education. It really is. It just goes on and on and on,
Yeah.
and that really
Exactly.
helps me to take the pressure off, and I just enjoy the learning stuff. Yeah.
Um, just talking a little bit, going back to what we talked about with Lenormand and how it influences tarot. For me, I I started laying cards out and thinking of tarot cards in the style of Lenormand. So I started to do diamond nines and layouts like that with readings, and then you start paying attention to like the way the characters are facing. You start paying attention to certainly what's up and above and below, rather than just
Mm.
being, oh, this is past, present, and future. How are these
Mm.
two characters, or how are these two cards reacting to one another? And one
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
best tarot decks is actually, for this one, I found, was the Everyday Tarot, because that is where everybody's in profile. Is that right? Looking to the side, yeah.
Right.
And so it was almost reading like a cartoon strip,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
or like
interesting.
an
But
Egyptian hieroglyph, or something like
but
that. And
But
it
see,
was
that's what I love about Lenormand is that in a way, I mean, I've actually made a deck of, I was saying I made a deck of Lenormand cards myself, like little mini ones, because it's easy for doing a GT. It's really, it's because I do it in bed. And when you take away the picture with Lenormand, it makes it easier, I think, in some ways,
yes,
because you focus more on words. Whereas,
true.
yeah, with tarot, it's much more, it's funny. I don't know if you find this, but because I used to do a lot of readings on TikTok, sometimes I will look at tarot cards and I almost look through them and I see other things that aren't necessarily anything to do with the interpretation. But it will be right. It will be little intuitive hits that you get. But again, that's where I've realized using the right and left side of the brain. And I talked about this in the video that I made last night. How do you know when to stop shuffling? So how do you know when to stop shuffling? What do you
I know
do?
it's right to stop shuffling.
Because you feel it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I thought, well, and I did this because you very much do this with mediumship. You know, I've explored this quite a bit. How do you know when it's right? I needed a system of yes or no. A
Yes.
very simple way of because if you think if I can't communicate with you, and all you can do is do that or that, then that's the system that we use to communicate. And that's really what
Yeah.
you're doing, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I thought, well, if I make yes a feeling in my chest or in my heart, and no, the feeling in my belly is if you're on a roller coaster, is if you're feeling a bit sick and stuff. You know, when you meet someone, you think, ugh, you know. And
Quite
so
often.
when I get that feeling in
Yeah.
my up, feeling higher up, then it's right. And actually, I did this in a video last night where I was swapping cards and changing. Yeah, it's the feeling. Yeah, the cards are telling you because when you've got that feeling of that click, and what I do sometimes is I'll do a shuffle 17 times because that's my birthday. So 17 is kind of my number.
Yeah.
Um, when you get that click, what is happening is those cards are knitting together like a jigsaw puzzle and almost projecting film, really, that's showing the scenario and all the interconnections. And so it's about having that right combination. It literally is a jigsaw puzzle. I think I called last night's video the Lenormand is an intuitive jigsaw puzzle, but it's about having the right cards and the right positions, you know, to tell the story. So. Do I have Rich's deck? I'm going to be buying it tonight or in a couple of months' time when I can afford it. After I bought a million other books.
I'm making playing cards. Thank you very much. Joe has also asked another. Said I think it's great to layer multiple forms of divination. Absolutely, and you know, a lot of people use oracle cards and tarot quite often
Yeah.
together. I've done it. I've done it on readings here quite a lot. And
Yeah.
Jonathan says, "Yeah, I'm a big fan of layered readings." So
They are. They're good. I do love the little starseed oracle, especially because of the box.
yeah. Here we go. We've got a question from White Wolf Mother, who's a newbie.
Oh, hi.
Said, what's the difference? I have tarot and oracle, but what is Lenormand?
Okay. Well, I will show you.
Get your deck out, I think.
Yeah. So let's have a look at. I will show you the. Oh, hi. Where are we? I'll show, what I like about the queer Lenormand is that the images are very, very clear. So, okay. So what's the difference between tarot and Lenormand? So the tarot card for me will give you a situation or a series of situations. For example, the Ace of Swords, I think of triumph over adversity. You're taking a situation and you're turning a potentially negative situation into something positive by using your thoughts, because swords are to do with the element of air.
Yeah.
And so, but that can describe a lot of different situations. There could be multiple examples of that. With letter, it is more about a word. It is correspondence. It is something to do with correspondence, something to do with receiving a letter. And then the next card to it will describe what that is. So one card on its own in Lenormand doesn't tell you that much. The
Yeah.
heart. What kind of emotion is this? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it sudden? Is it from a distance? Is it, you know, feeling emotional about our house, feeling emotional about our friend? We've got a dog card representing a friend, a neighbor, a sibling. So, you know, the two cards combined give you an example of something. Whereas with tarot, the tarot card will kind of work on its own fairly
Yes.
well, you know. I don't particularly like the sort of single tarot card draws. I like to have one card to describe another one because it's the same. And also, especially with reading reversals, you kind of need that clarification because reversals I mean, an upright tarot card, you could have, I think of them as bullet points. You could have up to maybe 10, 12 scenarios based on work, health, love, money, spirituality, whatever area the query is asking about. And so it's good to have that kind of clarification of it, of what is this situation about, you know. I'm all about, like when I do a reading, not I mean I should say it's not something I ever particularly want to do in terms of becoming a professional tarot reader.
Yeah.
Because I'm a writer, I'm more interested in writing and teaching rather than going on TikTok saying that'll be £30 please for 3 cards, you know. But when I do readings for people, the most important thing for me is, say I do a Celtic cross, the first 2 cards are really kind of giving me the flavor of what's going on in terms of the question. I ask questions. I make the person do 50% of the work. There's this idea that tarot readers have to sit there and be like an oracle. Oh, well, I can see the next week you're going to receive a present from whoever, you know. I will ask. I say, okay, we have an Ace of Swords. This is triumph over adversity. Tell me about it. What just happened? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you get them to answer the questions. Is this your mother? Is it your father? Is it your boyfriend? What's
Absolutely. And
happening?
I think we are, well, not we are, but it's quite often perceived that the person coming to ask the question, the query, is almost testing the tarot reader sometimes, isn't it? Is it how good are
Oh, and
they? Are
they,
they able to tell me about what's happening in their life? When actually having that conversation, I've got this, does this mean this? So much more useful than trying to spend the whole time of the reading, not necessarily second guessing, but not having all the information. It's a bit like only being in a fantastic room and having half the lights on, isn't it? And not
yeah.
seeing the whole picture.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I switch off comments on YouTube is because I've spent hours and hours and probably hundreds of hours on TikTok
Mhm.
doing readings, and I've had every negative comment you could imagine thrown at me. Prove that you're doing it real. Prove this. Prove that.
Yeah,
And I mean,
yeah,
I'm sitting there doing readings, coming out with first names, last names, when they've been in hospital. I can see inside their living rooms because I'm a psychic medium. And I thought to myself, it's not my job to prove to you that this is real. It's my job to understand and to educate myself first and foremost, and
fantastic.
then try and help other people. And so I'm not, hi, honey, talk to Oprah. It's like I'm not Oprah Winfrey. It's not my job, you know. So that's why I like the idea of teaching, like because I think it's kind of give a man a fish, he'll feed him for a
Mm,
year unless he's a vegetarian, and give him a fishing rod and he can go and
yeah,
catch fish himself.
yeah,
So I think, and especially with so many fake readers, this I've had people ask me $250 for £250 for a reading, and I think, honey,
yeah,
are you kidding me?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There is unfortunately that quite a yeah, there is that. That's why we have to be very careful. And that's why it's great to talk amongst ourselves and amongst the community about this and get lovely ideas and share thoughts about it.
So I'm just looking at that comment. So it's a building block on top of tarot for clarity. It's a separate divination system,
Yeah.
which is much more based on words. If you think nouns and adjectives,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. Whereas tarot, I think tarot teaches you how to be a better human being, and can be used in a very esoteric way. Whereas Lenormand is more of a, would you say, exoteric way? So it's
Yeah.
more of, it's like a lie detector.
Exactly. I say that tarot gives all these wonderful insights into things and it gives you options that you possibly haven't looked at. It shines the light into areas where you might not dare to think about or
Yeah.
gives you possibilities, gives you this wonderful world. Whereas Lenormand comes along and goes, no, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Dot dot dot. It tells you as it actually is, and it kind of sometimes can give you a bit of a slap around the face. Go, wake up! This is what's happening. It's
Well,
quite
I mean, I started thinking the other day, why were these divination techniques discovered? I think they were more discovered than invented because when you look at the similarities between tarot and Lenormand, in terms of the sort of energetic balance of these decks, it's obvious that they're very, very similar. Even though they look completely different, they're actually, when you get down to it, they're very similar. And so, why do we have something like Lenormand, which is a lie detector? It totally,
yeah,
100%, it is. It's a lie detector because people have always known that we have psychic abilities, that we have a pineal gland. Once you decalcify it, poof, you better be ready for what's coming in. We're talking Whoopi Goldberg in Ghosts every single day. I mean, hi, I hear dead people all the time. Once you open the gate, once you lift the veil, then everything starts to come through. And so human beings realizing this thought, oh, we need to fix this because, hi, politicians. And so that's why we invented gaslighting, which is about changing someone's perception of reality. And so Lenormand is the nemesis, the antithesis, if that's the right word, to gaslighting. Simple as.
The antithesis of gaslighting.
Really, you know, it's because
that's a subtitle for a book or a chapter, isn't it?
Because really, what do we go through in life? We go through peace, tension, otherwise known as true or false, light or dark. We live in the physical world, we live in a world of polarities. And so you have got to have these systems to be able to see through. I mean, one of the best ways of doing it is with scrying. It is a bit more kind of abstract, but then you don't need cards, you know. So scrying, but even like this is why I want to make videos about this, because I sent a picture from the Wizard of Oz. Do you remember that, the Wizard of Oz, where you see Dorothy seeing Antan's face in the clouds and everything else? When I show people my crystal ball, people think that I see pictures as if I'm looking at a projector or a film screen. No, it's just a piece of glass. You can use water, you can use a stone, a pebble, anything dark. It is about opening up a window between the conscious mind and the superconscious, which is Google. That's where Google is. That's where we go to what is happening in my life. It's like us typing into the supercomputer, you know. So I think about it in a very literal way. But yeah, true, false, psychic abilities, gaslighting.
Thank you. Jonathan says, I think of the tarot as a deck of ethereal archetype that allows open interpretation, and the Lenormand is more physically realistic archetypes that allows the cards to write a message. Lovely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Gerald says, hashtag truth. It's not my job to prove this is real. I absolutely agree. Yeah.
You get to it, I'm sure you all have been through this, because I know you're all, I probably have a lot more experience than I do. I'm a newbie here, but
we're all on a journey.
I'm at the point, I think it's to do with age as well. You know, I'm going to be 45 this year. I've lived in 4 countries. It's like I've probably had numerous past lives, and I'm just at the point where I just don't have time for people who come at me with things that they haven't studied and they haven't researched. You know, psychic abilities aren't real. Well, have you read any books about it? Have you looked at this? Have you studied psychology? No. Like, well, then, I mean, what are you basing this on? You know,
exactly. It's that whole. It's particularly now when with media and in media, people wanting immediate answers and response and googling, like you said. It's almost like we're going in the completely opposite direction. It's automatically, I want to find out now. And quite often it's not necessarily selfish, but it's often me centered, isn't it? With a lot of stuff that goes on there. So it's nice to broaden it and break out of that one there. We've got some lovely comments here. I'm just going to read them, Xand. So White Wolf Mother said, I've just started a tarot journal at the beginning of the year. If I don't pull tarot, I emotionally vomit my feelings. If I'm missing a loved one, I use Oracle to kind of have a conversation with the lost family. That's fantastic.
That's right.
Lovely. We were talking about journaling actually just before we came on, didn't we? And we were talking because I'm notoriously bad at not journaling. I'm a bad person for that one, because what I do is I do the worst. I take a photo of it on my phone and think that I'm going to go back and interpret it at another time, and then of course never do. So,
shall we have a look? I suppose we should. Shall we have a look? And I've showed you on YouTube actually, because otherwise I'll mess up the background. I have a system. Think airport codes, especially if you read reversals, which I personally like to, because it expands your vocabulary. If you read reversals, then you're not taking cards out of play. Think about it like that. And that's why I like player 1 and player 2, because people say you should use a second person, using the rider to represent a second person. But that takes a very important card out of the system, which is a very carefully balanced system, especially if you read a GT. I don't want to do that because it's like taking words out of my vocabulary. I want to have the most expansive vocabulary I have. And so, what I find airport codes, I don't faff around. I do circles. So don't even draw cards in a diagram. Get your pen and paper, do circles to represent your past, present, and future, or your Celtic cross, whatever it is, 6 cards, so 6 circles. Put in, for the Two of Cups, 2C. Two of Cups reversed, 2C, RX. RX. Don't even write reverse, just RX for reversals. And leave it. Do your cards, wait, and set your intention to read for 24 hours in terms of a learning exercise. Wait and see what happens. And then the next evening, when you got to do your next tarot diary, as I call it, just do the circles again, draw your cards, and just look at what's happened during the day and see if you can link up. Say, I always give an example of any time my parents are going to meet me for breakfast and they cancel, I will get a Two of Cups in reverse. And so I know now, for me, the Two of Cups reversed is always, they're going to blow you out. They're not going to make the date, or they're going to cancel. It can be a lot of other things, but generally, because that is typically what I tend to do. I don't have a big social life because I live in a village. So I meet my parents for breakfast, and that's literally all I do.
Yeah.
And so I've come to think of the Two of Cups reversed as they're going to phone and cancel. So it makes it more personal to you. I think tarot card interpretations should be based upon your experience, your life, not from a book, not from. Yes, using books. The book that I highly recommend, oh my God, is, I have got to give this little plug. The only book that I really use for tarot, Mary K. Greer, Tarot Reversals. Oh, and it covers uprights as well. Yeah. It's not as good as my book is going to be, because I'm joking.
Keep watching, everyone. We'll have a book launch here within a year, I reckon.
Well, I'd like to sort of base it upon this, but make it more of a reference guide. It'll be a pocket sized, probably. It'll be a quick, no faffing, every day.
Well, the next thing after that, you'll have your own deck of cards coming out, won't you?
I am working on that. I am working on a deck of tarot cards and a deck of Lenormand cards, specifically for people who want to do GCs in coffee shops.
There you go. There you go.
I love this book so much, and she just
got that one.
Yeah, it's I've got a few books on tarot. She's got 21 Ways as well, which I really love.
Oh yeah.
How do you decalcify the pineal gland? Okay,
you go know about this, so you drop that one in.
The easiest way to do it is to go to YouTube. My favorite channel is Meditative Mind, and you will find loads of videos. Any of them are really good, but you can find videos that specifically have sound to decalcify the pineal gland. Bear in mind, my partner is a scientist, or ex-partner, I should say. So I kind of know quite a bit about quantum mechanics. And so if you think that everything is made of atoms, and inside the atoms, scientists believe there are vibrating strings, and they vibrate at different frequencies. So when you start to look at solfeggio frequencies, which is what this channel is based on, those frequencies of vibrations, the number of times something is vibrating per second, will affect us at an atomic level. And so it specifically affects the pineal gland, decalcifies it, and also activates the crystals, the tiny crystals inside. And this is your third eye. But it's the third eye with a cataract. Everyone's walking around with a cataract on their third eye. And that's the problem because of calcification, yeah. So
what was that website? What was the YouTube channel again?
Meditative Mind.
On YouTube. I'm going to write that one down. And if anyone can pop that one in, anyone with a spanner can put a link in, that would be really useful. I can't say
meditative mind. I know it's a difficult one to type in sometimes.
Friday evening. Come on, folks, give me a break.
Yeah. It makes a big difference. Yeah, because also, the way that I think of it is when I pull a deck of tarot cards or Lenormand cards, I want to be using probably 99% intuition and 1% logic, really, because it's the intuition that will tell you. because there's a difference between someone who does a tarot reading and tells you what the interpretation of the tarot card is, and someone who says tomorrow your car will not start in the morning with a chariot
Mm.
reversed, right?
Yeah.
Which is more useful? I mean, I always think if someone doesn't want to learn to read tarot cards, then why are you teaching them tarot card interpretations? Don't. Just tell them real life. Talk
Yeah.
about it in real life terms. They don't need
Very
to
good
know
point. I love
the
it.
history
Yeah.
of the hermit. The hermit is me studying. That's studying. The hermit reversed his social phobia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's a very honest. That's a very good way of thinking about it. And I often, when I go for walks, I try and rethink cards, what I know about them, and try and put them into scenarios, which is really a fascinating way of just spending some time being mindful and thinking
And
about things.
I've thought about this a lot actually, in terms of especially having taught myself over the past year. If I was to teach someone to read tarot cards, I
Mhm.
would teach them reversals first,
Yeah.
even though
Yes.
I'm sure they would resist. So they would say no, 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 no. But the
Yeah.
Nine of Wands in reversed is just an indefensible position. So it's very useful to know that if you're going to do a legal battle with someone, or if you're having an argument, and you think you're going to win, you got a Nine of Wands reversed. You're not. Let it go.
Yeah.
Easy. And then you understand the Nine of Wands is keep going. It's fine. It's all good.
Jonathan, I can't click on that link, so I don't know if that's the right one. We'll have to
There's
have a look.
you'll see it's got 4 or 5 million subscribers. Yeah. But it's really,
Probably
really
like
good.
you at the end of this, because they must be going
Yeah.
up. Don't forget, remember, everyone like and subscribe. But you have to get Xand past 600 this evening.
Yay. Let's see what we're at now. Are we
Oh,
we are at 595, five to
five.
go. You can push that share
Like when
button, push it, send it, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Insta, share it in your local newspaper. Yay. Awesome.
there we go. Gerald has also put a link in there, so hopefully that's the site there that we want. Rochelle says many cities here in the US put fluoride in the water, which calcifies our pineal gland. Yeah.
And why do they do that? The same reason as gaslighting. Because if you think about it, if everyone on the planet knew what everyone else on the planet was thinking or doing or saying, there would be no secrets, there would be no lies, and there would be no corruption. And so governments would fall apart. So it's necessary for us to have, but we have to have some barriers. I mean, we can't be an open book all the time. But one of the ways that you can stop someone from looking, because they can, if I can look, so can you, goes both ways,
Yeah.
is, and this is why I have these tattoos. So we have a big lotus flower
Look at
here.
this
Oh, hi.
flexing
That's, I know, hi. I'm not really. But we got the big lotus flower, we got a little one,
Yeah.
and we got the smaller one. And so the smaller one has all of the petals closed apart from one. And so if you imagine a lotus flower here, closing, and you leave one little petal open, it then prevents, it's like working as a filter.
That
And you can
happened.
say to people, get out of my head.
That happened to me once. I never really realized about the third eye. I'd done a lot of reading about it and kind of thought, and then I did on a live lots of readings, like for an hour and a half. I did continual bang bang free readings, and when I came off it, my head was like not a headache, but I could actually feel this gland. I could feel it pulsing. It was a really, I'm not going to say a pleasurable experience, because I had to then think, right, let's close this one down. But for almost the whole day, it was like still radiating. So I think I probably decalcified it and kind of
It's
it
the
burst
same.
open.
Yeah, well, it's the same as being a masseur or a Reiki
Mm,
master. You have to have some way of separating your energy from the other person. And we are exchanging energy and exchanging thoughts all the time, all the time. Scientists have proven this because they can look at kind of, the brain waves going out and how they do go out quite
yeah,
far. Our auras go out to what,
yeah.
5 or 6 feet or 8 feet or 10 feet. And so you have to have some way of protecting yourself.
So
One of the ways that I do that every day is I have a salt bath every day and I put some nettles in. They're spiky, so they keep negative energy away. Then it works. It does. Same as burning sage, but isn't not that these things have magical powers in and of themselves. Sage is just a plant,
yeah,
but it's because we it's a symbol. And we can get into the Akashic records and all of that. But it's like with tarot. I mean, the way that tarot works is because they are symbols that human beings have been using for thousands of years or hundreds of years, whatever it is. And we know, in terms of the superconscious mind, it understands all of the language. And that language includes symbols such as sage and nettles. And that's why plants work. And I think, anyway.
It's really refreshing talking to someone about this because, we often put all of this sort of not necessarily on a pedestal, but we got all the like sage and stuff, and we don't actually probably think why we're doing it. And as you say, it's that whole
well,
thing.
I don't
get into the ritual part of it, perhaps. Without
I don't think of these as having magical powers. For me, nothing in the physical world has the ability to manifest anything in the physical world. It must be manifested from the kind of astral or the causative plane. And that's, we're lifting the veil between what is physically here and what is creating the physical experience. We experience the physical reality. And so tarot cards, they're just lovely cards. They're symbols. They're symbols. And so I don't wrap my tarot cards in silk, I'm afraid. I look after them, kind of, but
Well, I'm going to now move on to the next bit seamlessly, because some of your tarot cards you can't wrap because they don't physically exist, do they? Because you do mental tarot card readings, don't you?
I have done. I have done in the past with quite a bit of success. Yeah.
So
I learned that from.
About that.
Well, I got that from. This is one of my first books, The Essential Tarot, Vincent Petishke, which I've kind of I've grown out of, really, because Vince doesn't do reversals, sadly, and I found it's a very, very good book. It got me into kind of mind maps, which is awesome. But what I find really interesting is his wife is I guess, a psychic medium, and he said in a few videos that she doesn't use cards. And I thought, ooh, that's exciting. And so I thought I would try it. And you literally have an imaginary deck of tarot cards, you shuffle them in your mind, and then lay them out in your mind. So you're doing it all virtually, and you will find that if you can connect with the person, you can do a reading for them. And you'll get it. I tried it in the off license the other day. I've got a friend who's quite kind of into tarot, and I said, "Can I do a quick reading for you in my head?" And she said, "Sure." And I can't even remember what the three cards. I think I just pulled three cards, and it was very accurate. It was something about illegal documents she was signing, and then her son visiting, and her daughter having a party, and it was all right. Yeah, and then of course you can, if you're confused about it, you say, okay, I have a Two of Swords. So someone's procrastinating about something. What are they procrastinating about? Why? We have a Five of Pentacles above that, and so okay, there's been a decrease in money, so something's happened financially. Maybe we have a Tower in reverse, so it's been a disaster, but it's getting better. So what could this be? And yeah, so I think the more tarot readings you do, you hear scenarios, and that's what I've done readings where someone has lost a job and their partner's left them and they can't afford to pay their bills, and so I know what those cards are in that sequence. And the same with Lenormand, you get used to card sequences, and so you don't need cards really at all.
So you just simply shuffle them in your mind, in your imagination, and
but also it's this is where I think this thing for me about trusting my intuition. And when people talk about it getting a gut feeling, so I always, when I think of getting a gut feeling, it's something is wrong. When I get a heart feeling, something is right. So if I'm shuffling cards, if I'm thinking of tarot cards, I'm not shuffling anything, but I'm thinking of them, do I feel something here or do I feel something in my stomach? So I could almost go through a deck. It's 36 cards in Lenormand. You can go through them like a Rolodex and think, okay, good, bad, good, bad, good. And so you want the positive ones. So if I want to choose 5 positive cards, I can quickly go through. Is it clover? Is it ship? Is it this? And remember this, the way that I think of it is, it's not that a spirit guide external to me is telling me, going, oi, you need to choose that one. It's my subconscious mind or your subconscious mind telling me, giving me that instruction. And that's when you know where to stop shuffling. So once you get used to that signal, it is almost like sign language.
Yeah.
You know, but it took me a while to figure that out. When I remember doing my first tarot reading for someone. I was so scared. I'm sure we all are. We're like, oh my God, there's 78 cards. And I was only doing uprights and I was thinking, I can't do this. And I was so I didn't realize that you could actually say to someone what just happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then, for example, I would do readings and I can sometimes, if say someone's had an argument the night before, I hear the argument. I literally could hear doors slamming and
Really?
I could see the fight in my mind. And I said, you've had a fight. I can see someone being punched, and they would say, "Yeah, we had to go to hospital." Or I will see someone was in hospital for a very specific dates. They were in hospital over Valentine's Day, and then for about 4 days after that. So whatever, I kind of what is that? 14th of February, is
Yeah.
it?
14th of Feb,
So
yeah.
it was for 6 days. It was from the 14th to the 20th, and I said, "You were in hospital last year from the 14th to the 20th," and I can see the ward, and I can see the color of the bed sheets and everything else. And but it took me a while to realize that's not my imagination. That is an intuitive hit.
Yeah.
But the only way of proving that is you have to say to someone, "Is this correct?"
Exactly.
And
And that's the biggest hurdle for reading any cards, whether it's oracle, anything, reading anything, any form of divination,
because
is
we
to
don't want to look like a
step out
fool.
your comfort zone and go, this is what
Yeah.
I'm getting.
Mm.
What is it? And it's that starts the whole ball rolling with where you progress to and what you go into. And once you've made that hurdle, and probably jumped it a few times, you know
But
what the
also, I
solid.
haven't. We've been conditioned by the external world around us to believe that we do not have the ability to see anything other than what we can touch or smell or hear. We cannot see or sense anything beyond the physical world. Now, because we're conditioned like Pavlov's dogs to believe that, it's very hard to deprogram and reprogram your subconscious mind to accept that. And the only way we can do that is by having that proven to us. So the more readings you do and the more accurate information, the more you prove to yourself, yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
And one of the ways I am trying to, I suppose, show people that it is real, that I'm not bullshitting them, is by saying, look, I don't charge for tarot readings. I will do a reading for you. And by the way, everyone, I'm more than happy. I would love to do readings for you. So if you would like tarot, runes,
Yeah.
Lenormand, I do all three. It's really good for me to practice. So give me a shout. I've got Instagram and Facebook on my channel.
So people can contact you through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You just
Yeah.
want to get them
And we
back to
can
me.
we
You
can
just
do
want
a What's really good for me is to do a video chat over WhatsApp or Messenger. WhatsApp works pretty well. And all I ask is that you give me feedback. I really need to know what happens. So if I'm right, and that's, because I'm all about getting evidence to sort of to improve, but also to prove to myself that, yeah.
that's very generous of you. And
Sure.
I've had you've done my cards. I really would recommend. I'm not giving you a plug there, but it's good that this community, we do feel safe to be able to share and know that the feedback that you're going to get is genuine, and it's not somebody going, oh, I've paid 20 quid for that and it's right or wrong, and there's no financial incentive behind it. So
Yeah,
please
exactly.
give Xand a message on any of his social media
Sure.
if you would like him to experiment on you with his readings. He's very good. I'm going to say that
Oh,
he's very good.
I'm a student. I'm very much a student, but I'm an enthusiastic student. So yeah, but the way that we improve is by doing it. It's
Yeah,
now it's I used to work in a tattoo studio, and I would say to the tattooist, "How do you get good at tattooing?" Well, you tattoo.
yeah.
You have to, and it's just that as much as you can read for yourself, you have to read for other people on a regular basis, and for them to say yes,
Yeah.
and ideally for them to say, "Oh my God, that's so accurate,"
Well, I'm going to throw this into the ring. You can always say no, but we often do readings on this channel. Gerald and I,
Mhm.
Tarot Stash, do our long stash readings around the Sabbath. We're always looking for people to come on and join us, do
Yes, please.
readings quick, because we do. You're more than welcome if you'd like to come and join us at some point, and we can
I
organise
would
that.
be honored.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
definitely, we'll sign you up. We'll sign you up. I'll talk afterwards about it.
That would be great. I would love. You'd really be helping me, because especially with Lenormand, I really want to. I really want to improve, and I'm still very rusty. I mean, as much as I talk about grand tableaus, folks, I try and do 3 cards, and I think, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. What I should say is I'm really mainly doing this for myself, but on my channel, I am going through every single Lenormand card, and I will be doing both the 2 card combinations, but then in separate videos, we'll look at kind of love, work, health, spirituality, different situations, and I'll show you as many 3 card combinations as I can possibly find. I will literally do them almost like drills. So I'll do boom, 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 and I'll make videos that you can watch, listen on loop, because for me, it's kind of like learning Spanish. I mean, when I learned Spanish, I learned doing the washing up in my kitchen with a disc, with a CD, back when we used to play CDs back 20 years ago, more than 20 years. God, it's been 23 years since I started learning Spanish. I am not fluent. I'm very much still a student, but the way that the only way I could learn is by listening to things at least 3 times to get them into the long-term memory. But the thing that I would say is, if you're feeling a bit daunted about, especially something like Lenormand, once you've learned something, once it's in the long-term memory, it's done. You've only got to do it once. I know it's hard work, but do it once, but then you can read any spread. So surely it's, and you can do it with me, because I'm doing the same. I mean, I make videos for myself, and I watch the video back 3 or 4 or 5 times, because I have to learn as well. So we can do it together. Yay!
Learn together.
Fun.
There you go. Brilliant.
Yeah, but I've also done all the tarot cards upright and reversed. Well, I didn't go through the interpretations. It's from Mary Bogart, but you'll find those on the channel as well, with a lot of humor. So prepare yourselves. I'm a bit of a comedy fan, so there might be some naughty words in there.
The odd occasional, yes, expletive. Just the odd one.
Could be. Could be.
How do you go around reading for yourself? Because I often find it quite. I'm very good at reading for other people, but when it comes to particularly tarot, Lenormand, not quite so bad, but for tarot, I'm almost don't do it anymore, because I get myself tied up in.
There's a trick. Well, I find there's 2 tricks. Number 1, don't faff. Don't faff. Don't stress yourself out. So if you do, say, 3 cards, you pull 3 tarot cards. Well, number 1, you have to have a question. Number 2, you've got to box it in. So what time span are we looking at? Remember, it's like if you imagine going to Google and you don't type anything in the search bar, and you're expecting Google to give you all the answers. Well, it can't. It needs you to tell you what you want it to. Now, what are we asking with a tarot reading? We're asking our subconscious mind to say, tell me the answer. Tell me what's going to happen, or tell me what to do. And so be specific with the question. Keep it fairly open-ended, maybe. You can do yes or no, totally. The 3 cards. The 2 cards either side will be 1. The one in the middle will be 2. So if it's upright, yes. If it's reverse, no. You can have upright, 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 all yes. Upright, reversed. Upright would be a maybe, because it's yes, no, no, yes. All reversed would be no, 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 no. So you're getting 4 answers. You can totally do that, but it's a bit limited. It does work, but it's a bit limited. But what I would do is pull your 3 cards. If you look at them and you think, I don't understand this, reshuffle. But first of all, have a dialogue with yourself and say, what are you trying to tell me? Can you tell me this in a way that I'll understand? Can you show me these cards forming a little jigsaw puzzle that will immediately give me that intuitive hit? I go, I got it. Try again. If it doesn't work, take your time. The thing that I like to do is I ground myself. Yes. So kind of grounding and centering. You imagine a ball of, we can make this very dramatic. Look, if I can do it, a ball of white light above my head. And so I am using that light to kind of really just get rid of any stress, because it's about getting rid of the tension in your body, letting gravity take all tension. So when we breathe, you imagine all the tension just draining out. You can imagine roots going down from the base of your spine into the earth. You're sending all that negative crap down there. When you breathe in, you're breathing in all that lovely energy. I imagine it's kind of gold fairy dust coming all the way through, spilling out the top of my mohawk eye and spiraling down around me. And then I'm feeling very relaxed. And I think, okay, I'm ready to listen now, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And then you'll find if you pull another three cards, you'll get cards that will tell you, because your subconscious mind is not your enemy. It's your best
Mm.
friend. It's your intuition. And so it's about developing a relationship with your intuition where you can start that dialogue. And then it's easy. But like I said as well, write down the cards whatever way you want. Do it short form like airport codes, really quick, little scribble. Don't worry about it. Look at it the next day, and then you'll think, oh, that was about this. That was about this. That was about... What I used to do was a morning, afternoon, evening spread. 3 cards. Tell me morning, afternoon, evening. Tell me what's going to happen. And you will look at the cards the next day and think, oh yeah, God,
Yeah.
that 9 of swords, someone was being alright,
Yeah.
you know. And then you have the what do we have? The 6 of Wands. Something went really well. We're
Yeah.
victorious. We got something done. Yay! It's awesome. We're being acknowledged for something. And then you have a 9 of Pentacles in the evening, having a Chinese takeaway and some chocolates, and watching Netflix. I mean, when I get a 9 of Pentacles, I think, oh, it's my day of getting a bit, a bit pissy boots. So,
And then
right?
make videos afterwards.
Yeah, and sing a lot. You will hear me singing quite a lot, often inappropriate songs on my YouTube channel. For those of a sensitive disposition, look away now. But yeah, but that's the thing. Make it easy for yourself. Tarot cards are the translator for you and your subconscious mind to have a little chit chat. So they're not your enemy. They are your friends. They are your best friends. And once you develop that relationship with them, whether you pull them down out of the clouds and they're off the pedestal and they're just chill, it's just it should be like talking to a friend over coffee. If you don't understand, like, let me the problem that you're having
Mm.
is the same problem that most people have when they move to Spain. So us kind of Brits moving to Spain. When I first moved to Spain, I lived in this little village called El Albir, which is about 10 kilometers outside of Benidorm. Beautiful. People have a very strong accent because it's part of Valencia. So they have that Valenciano, which is a bit like Catalan. So they speak Spanish in a very particular way. I'd been studying for years, couldn't understand a word, and I couldn't make myself understood. And I didn't realize that what you have to do is say, más despacio, por favor, slower. Look me in the eyes, say it to me again. And once I did that with people, they would go, oh, I get it. They'd slow down. I slow down. And you just ask again. If you don't, it's like, when you see, I'm sure you find this, kids in a classroom,
Yeah.
the ones who don't put their hand up and say, I don't get it. Can you explain it to me? Are the ones that fail the test.
Yeah, exactly.
I was the geeky kid who said, oi, can you help? Tell me about it. I still failed all my A levels, but but it taught me you have to dig. I'm a digger. So because I'm a Virgo, I'm like a little dog digging for a bone. If you don't understand something, you attack it. It's like the mountain card in Lenormand. Can we get over? No. Okay, we go around. Okay, that way's blocked. So maybe we'll find a different way, or we just dig a hole through it. You dig, and then
Yeah.
keep going. Keep going, but don't stress yourself out. I mean, I used to spend.
Absolutely. I think there's nothing, and I think that's the right thing. It's the timing for it, and quite often I love to make excuses for myself. That's what we do,
But I do.
I've got 20 minutes before I go to work. Oh God, I'm running late. Throw some cards down. Oh, it's going to be like that, and off we go.
I do recommend a video on my channel. I cannot remember which one it is now, but I can just tell you how to do it. You can do it yourself as an exercise, and it might be a bit scary for some people, but if you take a deck of tarot cards, either keep them upright or reverse, whatever is your preference. Either way is fine. They'll give you the message either way. I mean, there's no real difference between uprights and reading up just uprights and reading upright and reverse for me. It's just that you get more of an expanded vocabulary. But it will still, it works perfectly well upright. That's cool. That's fine. And go through the whole deck and divide it into 6 card spreads. So you will have 13. I think I can't do the math. Let me check. I
Yeah.
think I did this the other day on my channel. So 13 times 6 is 78.
Mm-hmm.
So you are reading for 13 ghosts. I called it 13 ghosts. That's it. The video is called 13 ghosts. So we're reading for 13 ghosts. So you have to make up a scenario with those 6 cards, but you have to start telling the story when you lift the first card. When you turn the first card, you start the story off. So it has to have meaning. And so as you're turning the cards, each 6 card spread, you tell the story, and you can just make shit up. It's whatever it is. You'll see in my video, I make up all sorts of silly scenarios, but it's a way of talking through tarot cards because they are just a language. And again, it gets you more familiar with them. And so you think, what could it be? Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen? If you do a reading for yourself and you don't understand, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Nothing. The sky isn't going to fall in. No one's going to judge you because no one's there. No one can see it. It's just for you. And so it's like with languages. I mean, I met so many people. One, I'll just tell you this very quickly. One woman who's related to me, actually distant relative, lives in Barcelona, works as a teacher, and has lived there for 7 years now, 10 years now, I think, maybe more, and understands Spanish but will not speak. She's terrified of speaking because she's afraid of making mistakes and she's afraid of not having the right accent. And the same thing. The mistakes are necessary for learning. I love mistakes because mistakes give me a chance to correct them.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
we learn by mistakes. So it's vital.
Yeah.
Yeah. And documenting your mistakes. That's why my wall, I've showed Richie, I have a whole wall full of my tarot readings.
It's like a battle plan earlier.
And I get it wrong all the time. You'll see me in my videos. I correct myself in the edit because that's another good way of doing it. If you film your reading, that's why I film my readings, especially if you film it and then you go back and edit the video, you'll see I put in text. I did it last night in the GT where I have this realization. I think, I got it now. Okay, that's what that means. And yeah,
Brilliant.
no big deal. It's like Katy Perry said, it's no big deal. Yay.
It's no big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at some lovely comments. Gerald said, I think tarot can help understand dreams. That's going back to the bit we talked about earlier on there. Pia says, thank you, Xand, for speaking on the pineal gland. This is definitely something I want to work on to open things up. We'll all be doing it over the weekend.
Good for mental health. I mean, that's mainly the reason why I started doing it, to help with anxiety. And touch wood, it's all good so far, you know, so.
White Wolf Mother says, how can you tell if you have the gift of mediumship? I ask because I have felt loved ones die from a distance. I always thought something was wrong with me.
Well, I don't think of it as a gift. I think if you imagine going to the gym, when you go to the gym at first, not that I've been in a gym for a long time. I've been in a cake shop recently, but not a gym. As Sarah Milliken said, I have a pie every day, you know. But when you go to that gym and you're trying to lift that weight, at first you're thinking, oh, I can't do it. And it's a really small weight. But if you go to the gym every day for 2 years, you'll be lifting much heavier weights with ease. You know, when I started, I used to do a bit of modeling and not art modeling, you know, for art schools. And I decided I wanted to start doing push-ups. At first, I could only do 2, and I felt like my wrists were going to snap. But at the end of it, I could do 50 in one go, no problem at all. This was not now, folks. Don't try and make me do it now because I'll fall flat on my face. But I used to be really fit. I used to be really fit and really toned. But it took me a long time to get to that stage. It took 2 years before I had the six pack and everything else. And so it's like that with the intuitive muscle, which is your third eye. Your pineal gland is your muscle. You have to exercise it. So this thing of my God, you have a gift. You can talk to,
Yeah.
the other side. It's not a gift. Everyone has the ability because it is ingrained in us. It's part of us. And it's just that we need to exercise it. So yeah, the thing that I would say about mediumship is that if you think about it like this, that person is sitting in front of you and you say, okay, I can't hear you, I can't see you, I can't talk to you. How do we communicate? Okay, if they were tapping you on the right hand or the left hand, you can imagine that. Some people feel warmth, which tells them right or left, and then you have to use a tool. So either you can use scrying. Scrying is a really good thing to explore. I've actually made a video on my channel reacting to a very, very good YouTube channel where they explain scrying because it's very misunderstood, but that can be very powerful. And again, it's a wonderful way of exercising your intuitive muscle because you're not reliant upon a deck of cards. That's the whole thing. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Did that
you.
make sense? Sometimes I
It
say
makes
things
no,
and I
it
think,
makes
does that make
perfect.
sense?
It's no, that does make perfect. And you're quite right. I think, particularly with mediumship, but it is. I realised that with tarot, everyone can read tarot. Some people can do it quite naturally, go straight for the. Other people take time to build up. But we all have a gift to be able to do it.
But also, you need to have a way of communicating. You need to have a way of proving things. That's what I like. So, for example, with a tarot reading, in a Celtic cross, the first two cards have to mean something now. If it doesn't mean something to someone or to you, then it's wrong. Reshuffle. Don't waste time. Don't faff. Reshuffle. Get it and reshuffle until you get to a card that means something. Then you know the other cards are right. And it's the same thing. What I've done is I will ask, show me something through tarot cards or Lenormand. Show me something that I know applies to a situation that I would understand. And so, yeah, when I've done it with my sister, because we were very close, and we're very close, and my family are a bit. My mum is very intuitive. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Very, very intuitive. For example, I made little tests on my channel. I don't even think they're still there, but guess the card, guess which card or which crystal am I holding in my hand. She got every one right, every
Really?
single one. Bang, 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 and I knew she would.
Yeah.
And so I will say, okay, first of all, let's clarify. So, give me a baseline.
Yeah.
If you were doing what is it called, a polygraph, a
Yes.
lie detector
Yeah.
test,
Yeah.
what they start off with is they say, is today, what day is today? Let's check. Is today Friday the 19th of May? And
Yeah.
you would say yes, and there would be a baseline
Exactly.
reading. Is your name Alexander? Yes. Do you live in Ireland? Yes. Is it sunny outside or is it raining? And so you can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that and use the three card, true or false, yes or no. And then once you get a few right answers, then you know that your baseline is correct and you're tuned in properly. And then you can go in for the deeper stuff. Where are the family jewels? Where's the will? How do I get the money? All of that.
Those ones that everyone wants to know.
Winning lottery numbers, please.
Yeah, that's what we want. Look, we've got good news in from Vanessa. She's been watching quietly. She's 599. So
Oh
close.
my God. That is
So
so
close. But if
exciting.
you
Thank
haven't
you so
subscribed yet,
much.
come on.
Wow.
Subscribe
I
to
can't
Xand.
believe it.
We're not
Do you
going
know,
till we've got 600.
I never thought I would get to 599 subscribers when I started doing YouTube 2 years ago. I mean, I started talking about mental health because I have what's called schizotypal disorder, which always freaks people out because I think, oh my God, schizophrenia. It's sort of similar. It's in the kind of family, and so that's why I studied psychology at school to try and cope with it. And my first ever little recording was just me talking about that. And my phone wouldn't even work. It wouldn't even film. So I had to do it as an audio file and upload it to YouTube. And now to see 599 lovelies on the channel. Oh my gosh, it's
And
amazing.
Vanessa's
So thank you.
599 as well. It's quite nice knowing,
Yay. Hi. So yay.
who.
So I hope you enjoy the videos. It'll probably drop down to 300 after this. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy them.
They will.
Yay.
Everyone will. Gerald says he's found your 13 ghost videos. There we go. And he's put a link into it
Awesome.
there.
Yay.
Kindness and Light says, the way I call hits, I can feel how they passed away. I'm a physical empath, and that is what I get. I'm trying to open up so I can hear them.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love it. It's wonderful.
I mean, this is something that I'm very much a student of. I remember Googling the word empath about 20 years ago. I think I was living in London. I was living in East London, just before they built the Olympic Stadium. I watched all of that being built, Stratford Village. I lived 5 minutes from there. And I remember Googling empath and reading about that, and I thought, yep. And it was kind of do you feel this? Yes. Do you feel this? Are you experiencing this? And I got 100% for that
No,
test. It was a test or something. And then it led me to looking at clairsentience, I believe it's called, where you kind of feel
yeah.
clear feeling. And then I thought, well, I'm getting precognition and I'm getting all the premonitions and everything happening. And then it was only really last year where I thought, I think I'm experiencing clairvoyancy now because I'm seeing. And so, because I was seeing inside people's living rooms and all sorts, it was crazy, 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 crazy. I went on holiday with someone who I could see the whole thing. And I thought, okay, and then I was starting to get the clairaudience. Now, I think the misunderstanding about all these things, it's very much like I was saying, when I show people a crystal ball, they say, what happens? Does it fill with smoke like in The Wizard of Oz? No,
Yeah.
doesn't. No. And when I talk about clairaudience, I don't hear, it's not like putting an earphone in and the person goes, hi, how are you? No, it doesn't. No, because they don't have vocal cords, do they? No.
No,
The
no.
dead people don't, well, they do, but they're dead. So, hi, they don't have a body. So they don't have vocal cords. So it's more of a telepathic communication, I would say. They describe it like that. The same way as I talk to aliens, of course. I'm sort of half joking about that.
I believe you. It's fine. Don't worry. You
I
can.
can't prove it, but But it's
Vanessa
the
says,
non-verbal communication. I'll be watching a review on tarot wisdom. Oh God, if you're a fan of Rachel Pollack, maybe not.
you didn't
Sorry,
like that book, did you? You
I,
didn't
I,
think.
I,
No.
I enjoyed it. I was going to say something else there. I probably shouldn't. I enjoyed it
Hmm.
about as much as 78 degrees of boredom. I mean, wisdom. I have to say.
A lot of people say that's a fantastic. I read that book during lockdown, and I have to say, it's not a kind of book to read during lockdown. You've got to be in the right mood for those ones, I think.
I think. Well, I mean, to give Rachel Pollack credit where credit is due, for the time she did the most incredible thing for not just the cartomancy community, but also the transgender community, the queer community at large. And for that, I'm forever thankful. I mean, amazing, amazing, amazing person. And I've watched a lot of interviews, and it's just incredible. And so, and I suppose at the time there probably were not that many books, really. I mean, this is
No,
this is probably one of the first books, wasn't it? Really.
yeah, yeah.
And so it was incredibly helpful, and that's why people love it so much. And I think I'm going to have to read both books. I will be reading both books over again to really get as much information as I can.
Exactly. I think it's one of those things. I took a long time to read it, and I've read it. I've never gone back to reread it. I have to be honest with you.
I
But
think,
there
I mean,
are
one,
I've read the Mary Greer book as well, and that's the kind of writing
yeah.
style that I preferred. I have to be honest.
Well, I only just got this because it took a long time to arrive. I ordered it from ABE Books in London, I think they are. Back in January or February. It only just arrived a few weeks ago, and I'm starting to read this. This I really recommend because it's fascinating, especially if you like psychology. It's really, really interesting. Unfortunately, my copy smells like old lady's pants. It does. It's very old, secondhand. But
Chuck it
but
in
I
a
just
charcoal. Chuck it in a charcoal box.
I
Oh,
just think in terms of
no.
everyday, the way that I read tarot cards now, which is I live in a council flat, folks. I'm not. There's no airs and graces at all. So I like this because it just cuts through everything and it just tells it
Yeah.
how it is. because I don't have. If I do a Celtic cross for myself, and you'll see with the Spill the Tea reading, which I did, the
Yeah,
Spill the Tea spread that I created. Rachel Pollock.
yeah,
Rachel Pollock is the author. If I do a Celtic cross for me or for you, I just want to get there in 3 minutes.
yeah,
I don't want to hang around. Yes, I can sit and look at it for an hour, but surely you want to get the general vibe
yeah,
fast and to be able to link the cards to actual events. I want to, if I do a prediction for someone, if I'm doing a forecast, I want to say, yes, this will happen.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then I want them to say, yes, it did happen. And it's as simple as that, you know.
I mean, we are so fortunate in many ways that we live in this world where not only do we have thousands of books that we can order pretty much
Mm,
next day, we've got
yeah,
thousands of days of videos and stuff like this out there. You know, there's a massive what we have to be pick and choose what works for us and what otherwise we'd
yeah.
drown in it, wouldn't we? So yeah,
I bought. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here with a stack of books beside me just in case. If anyone's interested in runes, because I'm going to be doing runes later on in the year, once I figure out what I'm doing a bit more. I understand fairly well, but it's just not something I use
yeah.
very often. I love my runes. I do
Me
have them,
too.
yeah,
That's what
all the
I
time. I labradorite runes. But likewise, I mean, I'm going to be trying to cover as many books as possible because I love reading about this stuff. And things like this will, if you're a beginner, will confuse the hell out of you. Whereas something like this, much better. So I'm going to be doing my best to find practical guides to tarot, Lenormand runes, and I want to look at Sevilla and Kipper and all the, I can't remember what it's called now, the Chinese divination system, which
I
is,
think I Ching.
wasn't I
I
Ching,
Ching.
yeah. I want to try that
Yeah.
just because I haven't got my knickers in a twist enough over all
You've
these.
got so much time on your hands.
But I want to try and sort of the main thing is when I started, I struggled to find information. It took me so long to find this book, and this book saved my life. It's like, oh my God, someone's talking about this in a simple way, you know. Um, I got the
Yeah,
call. He passed. I'm just looking at that. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah,
Well, I'm sorry for your loss. That's terrible. So you felt the pain.
yeah.
Wow. That's once you lift the veil, it's wide open.
You rip the veil open. What happens
Certainly
then?
do. Yeah.
What have you got planned for the rest of this week or next week? Have you got any exciting videos that are going to be
Um,
in the make?
I am editing a video about the rider card. I
Oh,
was going to go through and make very quick videos with card combinations for all 36 Lenormand cards. And then I realized I wanted to make longer videos for people who are doing Grand Tour, people who are GT fans like myself. And so the videos take me, it takes you guys 25 minutes to watch it. It takes me 20 hours to edit it. So, as you will see, there's a lot of comedy.
it's
And
not like
so
doing live. I don't have to go back and edit it. Yeah, it is as it
what,
is.
what, well, the thing that I love about YouTube, especially in that, because I love editing videos, and I love comedy. And yes, it takes 20 to 20, sometimes it takes 30 hours to do a half an hour video. There's one that I sang in. I was singing a bit of probably very badly. Ed Sheeran. I changed the lyrics of an Ed Sheeran song, and the first 2 minutes of that video took me 4.5 hours to
No.
record and edit. Yeah. Yeah, 4.5 hours. And then, and some videos will take 30 hours. So 30 hours to do a 20-minute video or a 25-minute video. And so they do take a while. But the nice thing is once they're done, they're done. And they are what they call evergreen videos. So people
And
can
your
watch them in 10
videos
years.
are very well edited and they're a
Oh,
joy to
thank you.
watch. It's
Well,
very crisp and
I'm very interested in making short films at some point. And so it's kind of preparing me for that. And yeah, but as long as people enjoy them, I mean, I love watching YouTube and I love when people make me laugh. I love funny people. I love French and Saunders. I love, all of that kind of traditional comedy. And 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 of course the late great Dame Edna Everage, Barry Humphreys, who just passed away. And I just think, it's so nice, especially when you're going through a really rough time. Oh, my Instagram, you'll find the link at the top of YouTube, but also I will tell you now that I can't remember what it is because I'm blonde and
with 2 black cats.
is it at 2blackcats2323? So yay. And my Facebook is I'm talking. I can't remember what the fuck that is. I never look at it myself. Facebook.com. Xander with a Xander West 2022. There we go. But I just think that, I like the idea of people watching one of my videos and having a really bad day and then laughing hysterically. I will accept all the friend requests. Hi. Yay. Yeah, it's just nice. And then and especially if you have to study something, I just want to sugarcoat the pill. I want to make it easier because I've watched so many boring tutorials. I remember one time I downloaded 4 hours going through all the tarot cards, just the uprights, 4 hours for just the upright cards. And I watched it 3 times. So that was 12 hours of me sitting there going, it's so boring. And it didn't make any sense. It didn't teach me a thing. So if I can hopefully help a beginner and make them laugh and make them realize it's no big deal. It's just tarot for God's sake. Why? Anybody can do it. No big deal.
So we're going to wrap this one up. So I'm going to give myself a plug first because this time next week, we've got more cats on the channel, but not 2 this time. I've got a dozen of them because it's my lovely friend Kelly from A Dozen Cats coming on, and we're having a laugh and a chat and probably putting some cards and just having.
Well, I will introduce you to my daughter before I go. Hi, she's hi. I know we almost had a ring light malfunction. Hi, Luna.
We've also got a question. What do we get with the subscriber count? Are we at past 600 yet? That's what we need to know.
Hi, baby. Oh, 1 second. Hi, my little girl. Oh, do you want to come say hello?
Oh, is this Luna?
Hi, this is Luna. Hi. Oh, no, she's not.
Luna.
She needs some media training, love. She does. Media training. Hi. Terrible.
We're still at 599, but do you know what? People will be watching this back.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Sebastian will be joining us next time, definitely. He'll make a cameo, tell some jokes, talk about politics. He likes to do that. A bit boring, but never mind. All right, my darlings. Well, hi, my new YouTube lovelies. So thank you, and thank you so much, Richie. That was awesome, and thank you to you all. I really enjoyed it. Yay! And I didn't do anything embarrassing. It's amazing.
We can still carry on, but no, we'll call before something does happen. But no, thank you so much for being really open, and it's been lovely chatting to you. Please do come on, and we will do some readings. Please, people, do contact Xand if you're interested in a reading. You're very, very welcome.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Yeah, she's my little dog.
Thank you. Do like, subscribe. There is always next time. Absolutely. So we're going to say goodbye.
Yay. All right, my darlings. Well, everyone have a lovely fin de semana weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next time and see you on YouTube. And thank you, Richie. Okay.
You're very welcome. And here's the goodbye video. Bye.
Bye, everyone.